The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN. Thanks so much for kicking your Tuesday off right here. We got about 24 minutes to go until the start of trading, and we got markets in negative territory, giving back some of yesterday's gains. But how about yesterday? Markets accelerating higher. You do it on volume. You check out the move we had. Now, remember, we got a futures gap higher on this chart. So it looks like there was a gap larger than there actually was in terms of the S&Ps up by about 22 points, I believe. But on this chart, it looks like it was up about 100 points because that rollover on the futures. Okay, but nonetheless, you got the futures finishing at all-time highs, up to 61.63. We're trading right now, though, negative by 20 points, we'll call it, down by 0.3%. NASDAQ 100, boy, remarkably strong yesterday. NASDAQ, the strongest index yet again. We're up by negative by 40 points this morning, down by 0.2%. Dow, extreme weakness here. Okay, as the chart says, Dow continues to look weak. I sent that out in Market Insights this morning earlier. 45,176. You're talking about. This is the ninth consecutive red bar. Ninth consecutive red bar. Not easy to have 9 in a row. You're just trading from 45,000 down to 44,000. You did get a futures rollover pop in there. We've given back about 1,000 points. And what's interesting here is we are starting to come in for the Dow to that bar from the election. Yet again, there's your acceleration higher on November 6th. We come into the day prior to the election at about 42,000. We're trading at 44,000 in the Dow and the Russell, off by 9 right now. Bitcoin, not stopping. 108,000 was the number yesterday, and we're back above it. 108,065. We're at 108,000, up $1,500 on Bitcoin. Crude backing off. $69.58 for crude, down about 71 pennies. You have gold negative. We got dollar strength again, man. We'll get into it. Let's pull up yields actually first before we do. All right, a little bit of a pop. Interesting. I was looking at this market earlier, and it was like, my goodness, right? We were at 4.43% when I looked at it this morning. Probably a little bit below that, maybe coming back to about 4.4% right now. We jump over the dollar, trying to break above 107, but can't quite do it. Every time it bumps up against it, you get a little bit of a trade lower, and we're seeing it happen right now. You got the dollar backing off yet again at 106.83. Right where we were towards the close of action yesterday. But that's not helping gold just yet, as gold trading down $18 at $26.51. We take a look at the daily. All right, gold pulling back again from the highs of about $27.50. We're down $100 from where we were trading just 5 days ago. And yeah, you take a look at that dollar on a longer term basis. Let's put it back to even a weekly, right? Well-defined technical area in between about 100 and 107. That's where we were a year ago in October, and that's where we are right now. And this is a weekly. We've now been up here for almost 6 straight weeks since the election. We back it up to a daily. And there's your election breakaway. We come into the election at about 104. We've held the 107 pretty well, even as the other markets have reverberated a bit. Like you check out yields, for instance, okay? And there's the bar on November 6th. We're just within the bar on November 6th. You compare that to the dollar, well above it. So yields are right where they were coming into the election. Meanwhile, you have the dollar up to 107 from 104. What that's saying is that no matter what's happening with yields right now, we have dollar strength going on in this economy right now, in this worldwide economy. And yeah, nonetheless, this morning, a little bit of lower price, higher yield. This is the 7th consecutive red bar as we're coming back down to lower price, higher yield. That area is right at about 109.10. Yeah, the line here is 109.13. No, excuse me, 109.09. And really, we're talking about 109.12, 109.13, this area. We chopped around on a daily from November 6th, the election, until November 22nd, and we're coming back down to test that area. And boy, We'll find out tomorrow if Chairman Powell is going to influence that action. We're almost 24 hours out from a Federal Reserve decision. All indications are that they are going to cut by 25 basis points. But what's so interesting is, all right, let's just jump into it. Now, we keep talking about the December meeting, justifiably so. 97% chance they're going to cut. Okay, the current range is 4.5 to 4.75. They're going to bring it down to 4.25 to 4.5% tomorrow. But check it out. You go all the way. Let's go out to June first. June, maybe we get one cut. Maybe we got two. You go out to December, maybe we get one cut. Maybe we get two. Right? You see that? A week ago, the market was thinking 1 week ago, folks, December 10th. Okay, the market already knew we were going to cut, but look how quickly this is changing. 1 week ago, the market was thinking that as of the end of next year would probably end at 2 to 3 cuts. That has shifted to now 1 to 2 cuts. They're taking cuts out of this market next year, folks. The market is, not they, But the market is really saying, okay, hold on a second, man. The Fed is really going to potentially consider a pause here when we get into 4.25%. The natural rate of growth in this economy could even have a 3 handle. They're not going to want to get too close to that 3 handle if there's inflationary factors going on in this economy. And some of the policies of Trump coming in could be inflationary in the short term. And they're going to proceed cautiously, and the market is proceeding cautiously with them as we're pulling rate cuts for 2025 out of the probabilities right now. And it is remarkable if you think to yourself, okay, we're going to cut by 4.25 by 25 basis points to be at 4.25%. By the end of next year, there's a 1 out of 8 chance that they have not cut at all. Okay? And we're creeping on it being 1 to 2 cuts over the next 8 meetings following. They're going to stop for some period of time. And it's going to be remarkable when they do stop how the data allows them to go forward and where we go from there. All right, let's jump around to some equities. And yeah, Broadcom getting a lot of talk this morning, and probably rightfully so. You look at the last couple of days, man. They come out with the earnings on Thursday, accelerate higher in dramatic fashion. We just traded from 180 to 250, folks. Yeah. What is that? 85 would put, you're pushing almost a 50% acceleration, and that's off 180. When you look at this thing was trading at 100 to kick off the year. We're pushing 250 right now, is exactly where we close to the penny. Our man Basil Chapman, his nice round numbers, we nail it. 250 to the penny. We're backing off a bit with the market this morning, even though we're a pre-market higher. And yeah, we got articles all over the place, man, talking about Broadcom. Their NVIDIA moment is as they put it. Now, NVIDIA in particular, you jump around, continuing the pullback here for NVIDIA, right? Maybe a little bit of diversification in the chips. NVIDIA from 152 down to 129, just like that. And yeah, where do you stop in this chart, right? There's really not a huge technical area in this chart in terms of where you could build an area of support when we've just accelerated higher, but you're trading down $3 for NVIDIA. We'll talk a little bit of Broadcom when we get back. And yeah, they're up 38% the 2 trading days since the results. Market cap, $1.2 trillion. How about it, man? We'll talk some Broadcom. We'll talk some chips when we get back. We'll talk some gold. We'll talk some Bitcoin. Stay tuned, folks. Don't go away. We'll be right back. If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to most people. They think it's too volatile and risky. Most people aren't going to take the time to educate themselves on how to do it right. But you're not most people, are you? At TFNN, you'll get the guidance you need to refine your strategies and techniques to invest like a pro. Because you'll be a pro. All TFNN subscriptions, books, software, and courses are available at TFNN.com. And I'm even going to tell you how to get them for less. Use TFNN's Tiger Dollars and you'll get up to a 20% bonus on your purchase. And once you apply them to your account, Tiger Dollars are automatically used for all future or recurring charges. Tiger Dollars also never expire, are fully transferable, and are a great way to add savings to your newsletters or services. Become the investor you were born to be at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den, hosted at Discord. TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This portion of the Morning Market Kickoff is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Welcome back, folks. We got Broadcom shares down about $4. Market in the red. We jump around to some of the biggest equities out there. You got Apple shares this morning. We hit 251.38. Yeah, 251.38, man. This thing, look at these markets, right? You're trading from 160 to 250 on Apple shares. You jump over to Apple, and we are now a $3.8 trillion company. Get your $4 trillion hat on, folks. We didn't even have a $1 trillion company until like 2019 or 2020. Now we're going to have a $4 trillion company. Not inevitable, but boy, it is remarkable. You jump over to Microsoft shares this morning. Not quite at the highest just yet. You got Microsoft shares down about $1. We put it in a minute or 5 minute. We jump over to Amazon. Quite a day for Amazon yesterday, holding on to those gains. Amazon accelerates up $5 from $228 to $233. We're trading right now barely in the red at $232. We jump over to Amazon. Yeah, they've gotten quite a run recently. You're now pushing $2.5 trillion. Now think about, right? Remarkable, some of these companies, man. Amazon's up 200% over the last 2 years if you cherry pick the lows. What's remarkable there is, yeah, you're at a $2.5 trillion company right now. You were under $1 trillion 2 years ago, and you're at $2.5 trillion. Video game style numbers, but nonetheless, you get Amazon trading higher. You talk about a run, man. How about Meta? Meta accelerates to an all-time high of 638 yesterday. I remember this company, folks. $1.5 trillion. They have 2.5 billion shares outstanding. I mean, look at this run, right? 2.5 billion shares outstanding. You were trading at $90, 180, You were at 225 billion market cap, and you're pushing 1.5 right now, trillion. Whew. You got some lofty expectations, okay? Now, that was the point, to get to expectations built into these equities, and there's going to be some expectations built into Broadcom, okay? So, we kick off the year at 100. We're trading at 250 on the dot right now. They come out with some pretty gangbuster numbers, and as this article on Bloomberg puts it, is that they blew it away so well that the market really needs to play catch-up with the type of acceleration that they have delivered and how behind basically the market is. And yeah, you better believe it. And yeah, this is the line that we have here. And this is Ken Mahoney, CEO at Mahoney Asset Management. He owns the stock, so he's talking his own book here. But he says they blew the number out and everybody had to catch up and chase it. And that is true, because we'll see if it holds, but that is true for Friday and for yesterday, because it is remarkable that you traded up $20 yesterday on this equity. They weren't done trying to catch it Friday, right? They couldn't catch it in one day. You trade from 180 up to 225 or so, even higher, right? Almost 230, and the market said, that's not enough. We got to go $20 higher, and you trade to $250 on Broadcom. Now, when we talk about earnings, okay, I like this chart. Check it out. So Broadcom right now is at a 38 times multiple when you're talking about earnings projected over the next 12 months, forward EPS, okay? Pushing into record territory. But what can happen there? You can grow into that. We've seen NVIDIA actually bring down their forward PE as the stock price has accelerated because they've delivered on the earnings, and that's what they have to do. And yeah, look at this one. And this is what's remarkable. Look at NVIDIA's. NVIDIA's in the blue here, okay? Your forward price earnings, which is what we just said, Broadcom is sitting at about 38 right now. Where's Broadcom? Broadcom is in white here. You see the spike up to 38 on Broadcom, okay? NVIDIA was all the way up to almost 45 in the middle of this year, and they've delivered. Look at some of these numbers, though, right? AMD, they've brought it down. You have Marvel Technologies pushing quite a growth aspect in there across the board. But it is remarkable when you're talking about these two chip stocks, you're talking about quite an acceleration. And yeah, we have the markets trading dramatically higher on higher PEs. But as we said, they can deliver, and we'll see if they do. You jump over to NVIDIA shares, they're slightly in the red by about $3, and we'll see how Broadcom opens. But don't expect any dramatic big give back. They are a player. They're here to stay. The charts say it, and this thing has run from $40 to $245 over the period of about 2 years. Yeah, and now we're talking about a company valued at $1.2 trillion. What are we at? 1.15. Closed yesterday at about $1.2 trillion. All right, we take a look at the Dow. As I mentioned, Dow looking pretty weak, especially compared to some of the accelerations we've gotten across the board in some of the other indices. Dow trading lower, futures nearing about 44,000 right now. Dow off 0.5% to kick off the trading session. Let's check out Bitcoin. Where do we go? No one knows, man. We're pushing new all-time highs every day, and all I will say is optimism is at all-time highs, man. Expectations can be everything. And this store of value, whether you want to call it a commodity, a currency, whatever you want to call it, okay, is up about 50% since the election, folks. You break away from this consolidation we had for the better part of this year. And the one thing that's interesting is, all right, if you take this on A to B, C to D, look at this. All right? That's a one-to-one move from the lows of last year. I can't believe that's last year. I had to check my chart for a second. Of 25,000, you trade up to a high in March of 75,000. You'd have a nice, healthy retracement on that way up. Let's see what our retracement was on that way up. Yeah, somewhere between a 382. Ah, look at the spike brings you exactly to a 50. Nonetheless, you get a decent pullback, and then you do it again. right? And you do it again, and we're now above that level. And boy, if you're going to take it to a 1 to 1.618 expansion, that brings you up to 132,000. But as you can see, we just did a 1-to-1 A to B, C to D, and that's how you like to see the B point broken, right? Boom. You break above it on all these bars, and we complete it, though, in no time. As Bitcoin, expectations at all-time highs. We're sitting at 108,000. And yeah, nothing wrong with having a little bit of exposure. Here's how I'll summarize Bitcoin as we come into it, right? Bitcoin is great. You want to have some exposure in Bitcoin? You should have some exposure to Bitcoin, okay? But you should also figure that any dollars that you put into Bitcoin could literally go to zero overnight. As long as you're okay with your allocation, maybe it's 1%, maybe it's 2%, maybe it's 5%, maybe it's 10%, depending on your trading account. Is it a small account? But you better be ready for a huge rip down if it may come. That's not how much you make, it's how much you lose sometimes, and make sure you're protected after this type of a run on Bitcoin. All right, folks, we're coming back for the opening bell. S&P's off 23. We'll be right back.
The consistency you're looking for is closer than you think. 1 or 2 adjustments are usually all you need to change your equity curve from red to green and keep it there. Come join Larry Pesavento live to learn what separates the winners from the losers. Join Larry Pesavento on the 2nd and 4th Friday of every month for 3 hours of live trading from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Time, where Larry will show you the market setting up and, most important of all, the state of mind of a winning trader. By watching Larry trade, you'll learn the Fibonacci levels, you'll learn how to apply A to B to C to D trading patterns, you'll learn trade management, pattern recognition, and much more. Join Larry October 11th and 25th for more live trading action. Your purchase goes towards 2 sessions, so make sure to sign up now so you don't miss a chance to sit next to Larry as he trades the market live. For all information and to reserve your spot today, go to the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstack releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. We got markets open, and you got an S&P down by 27 points, 61.26, basically right where we opened on futures Sunday night. We give it back. We were up to 61.63. We opened in negative territory. NASDAQ 100 Not quite to where we were Sunday night. You see the difference here. NASDAQ 100, quite the acceleration yesterday. We're negative by 0.4% right now. You get the Dow off by 0.5% and the Russell off by 0.6%. Bitcoin pushing those overnight highs, 108. 255. You have crude continuing to drop, pushing 69.37. We're coming into the lows of Thursday's session when we were coming into that price point, and then we jump over and keep our eye on yields in the dollar. A little bit of a pop. You got the 10-year right near about 4.4%. We keep our eye on the dollar, man. Yeah, dollar still sitting so close to 107, 106.89 we'll call it, and that's a tough one for gold jumping around. As you got gold trading at 26.54. We check in on Broadcom on their open. Yeah, they give back some of those gains yesterday, down we'll call it 4% to 239 with the market trading lower right now. But all things considered, we're basically where we were in the middle of the day yesterday after we were trading at 180. So you're up 33% still from where we were on Thursday's action as they digest their earnings, and you got NVIDIA trading lower as well. NVIDIA down about $3.15. We check out some of the other tech stocks. We talked about AMD. Yeah, quite the decline for AMD recently from 132 to 124. We're down another 2% today. You jump over to Intel, INTC, down another 1.25% for Intel. We check out the big dogs. Apple down 0.4%. Amazon, after their big day yesterday, they give back some of it, down 0.7%. Microsoft down just 0.1% right now. Google shares up 1.1%. Quantum computing on the horizon. Yeah, we will see. Meta shares this morning up by 1.2. Look at that pop. Look at that thing. This stuff's wild. You got to love the market, folks. Meta just trades up almost $10 from the open. $10. We're trading at 632 for Meta shares. Just off the all-time highs of 638 for Meta. We jump over to Tesla shares. Tesla up another 1.25% to 475 today. And where are we at in Tesla right now? Over 1.5. How about it? $1.5 trillion company. Look at it. In April. How many shares do we have outstanding? 3.2 billion. 3.2 billion. So this is a $1.5 trillion company. And we were at 380 billion in April. What's Elon pushing right now? 450 billion, something like that? With SpaceX, the Boring Company, and Tesla. Probably the best $275 million any person has ever spent on planet Earth, folks. When he has a run from October, look at this thing, up more than 100%. Remarkable. You know, I've been watching some Narcos on Netflix, and great series for sure. The first season goes through Pablo Escobar in Colombia. The second season, now I'm watching Narcos Mexico versus just Narcos, 2 series. Remarkable how much power you have when you're in with the government, right? And yeah, Elon is not a Narcos dealer, okay? But it's remarkable to see the acceleration that is now priced in to these equities over a period of 2 months, where we just had Tesla trade from 210 to 475. Nothing's happened yet. Nothing. Yes, he is going to help. I mean, we talked about the story last week, I think, that they're going to push to do away with crash reporting. Okay, so there are things in motion, but expectations are sky high. Kevin Hincks, our man from Charles Schwab Thinkorswim, he would always say, great phrase, at a certain price, I can be a buyer of any equity, and at a certain price, I can be a seller of any equity, because any equity can get overbought or oversold. And we're approaching spikes up on the back territory as you rise from $130 to $470, and you rise from 200 or so to 470 over the period of a few months. So great things are probably going to happen with that type of association of power between Elon and Trump. But a lot of them are already priced into this equity. That's where it gets a little difficult over the next year. I don't see Tesla going to a $3 trillion valuation right now until something actually happens to put that on a trajectory, because this is the acceleration they need to live up to in the short term. Now, I found this article interesting on the Journal, right? No. Is it Bloomberg? Maybe it's Bloomberg. Let's see. Yeah, it was Bloomberg, okay, this morning. And as a father with a child that's 3 years old, right? And we're talking about, pre-K 4 next year, Tommy preschool, all that stuff. And I went to Montessori. I was very fortunate. I love Montessori, folks. And there's a bunch of different Montessoris, okay? So you can't just say Montessori is great, any Montessori, because there's different Montessoris that are out there, for sure. We have a few in the Lakeland area as well as Tampa, of course. But he's got a Montessori school. And it's interesting to see how it's going to shape education in terms of what's going to happen going forward. Ad Astra is his company. And a lot of this is for his own kids. But it's interesting to see where that goes from here. Because, education's a tough one. And like I always say, the truth usually lies somewhere in between, right? Everybody can say all the great things about public education, and everybody can say all the horrible things about the waste and the kids that fall through the cracks and the horrible parts of it. But the truth is usually somewhere in the middle, as in, you have charter schools, etc. I get it. The tough part there is that dismantles the whole program. But guess what? The whole program, maybe it needs dismantling. You go over and over, right? But I'm especially looking at this, and it's, hey, for what it's worth, right? Everything's on the table. But yeah, you better believe that we got an education problem in this country, man. I don't know how you fix it, and that's the problem. Okay? So everybody wants to say that, you can't do charter schools because that takes away from public funding and it's going to erode public education. And that's true. And on a longer term basis, that's a tough one. But right now, public education is just not getting it done, And there's Massachusetts I come from, such an outstanding education. Everyone calls it Taxachusetts, okay? But boy, their public school education is just top notch. And unfortunately, there's a lot of tough schools in Central Florida, where I am, when you look at the education, the quality of the test scores, etc. So hopefully good comes out of it either way. But it is interesting when you read this. He's got a school set up right outside of Houston, I believe. And yeah, it is a Montessori preschool, and probably going to be just catering to, Elon. And maybe they'll build it out after that. But we'll see. But education is going to be in focus. I found that interesting. He just doesn't stop, man. So there's no hate for Elon. Believe me, I would love the education, and I find it interesting that, of course, he's going for a Montessori-focused school. Yeah, new Montessori school outside of Bastrop, Texas. And they filed documents. It's going to have 21 pupils out there. And his foundation set aside roughly $100 million. $100 million? Come on, that's nothing, Elon. I kid. Markets in negative territory, not Tesla, though. Tesla up by a percentage. We got the NASDAQ negative by 0.5%. We'll take a look at some other equities with news. We'll be right back.
Ho, ho, ho! The Tiger Dollar Holiday Double Bonus Sale 2024 is here.
Easy money.
Now through December 23rd, we've doubled the bonuses. Don't miss your opportunity to get a double bonus up to 40% on your Tiger Dollar purchase. Here's how it works. Purchase 500 Tiger Dollars and receive 100 bonus Tiger Dollars. That's a 20% bonus, $600 total. Purchase 1,000 Tiger Dollars and receive 300 bonus Tiger Dollars. A 30% bonus, $1,300 total. Purchase 1,500 Tiger Dollars and receive 600 bonus Tiger Dollars. That's a 40% bonus, 2,100 total.
Oh, wow!
But you have to hurry because this Holiday Tiger Dollar Double Bonus Sale ends on December 23rd. Visit the front page of TFNN for details and get your Tiger Dollars today.
Ho, ho, ho! TFNN.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the Opening Call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, He has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Welcome back, folks. S&P is now down about 30 points. NASDAQ 100 off 93. You got the Dow off 278. We take a look at the heat map here in terms of what's driving some of the action. And we kick it off with the NASDAQ. And yeah, Broadcom, just on the pullback alone, minus 4.4%. You're getting a lot of volatility as we get a little bit of price discovery. NVIDIA shares off by 2.3% as well. You see Google in the positive. Meta just dips red as we talk. You got Tesla up there as well. We jump over to the Dow. As I mentioned, the Dow off 286 right now. And Amazon adding to that red total, off 1.4%. NVIDIA over there as well. Salesforce off 1.6%. Walmart off 0.5%. United Health off 2% right now. Disney shares off 0.5%. Procter & Gamble in the red. You got Coke in the green. Cisco up 0.8%. Nike shares up 0.8% as well. And it's interesting. You look at a company like Nike in the Dow, right, a price-weighted index, a $77 stock, pretty cheap compared to some of the other equities. When you look at what Microsoft's a $450 stock, Amazon $230, JP Morgan $237, Apple shares $251. So you see the outsized influence those companies have versus a company like Cisco, which is up, but only a $58 stock. All right, we jump to the S&P 500 to see the map in terms of what we got going on. Some of the red jumping out. Yeah, you got financials all lower this morning. We had JP Morgan down a full percentage point. Bank of America off 1.4. Some of the staples, Walmart in the red, Costco in the red. Costco off more than a percentage point. Procter & Gamble down 0.3%. Energy stocks trading lower this morning. Exxon off 1.4% right now. Yeah, ConocoPhillips down 2.6% right now. And when you're looking for pockets on semiconductor, yeah, not a lot of green in this market when you look, right? We get some big players. Google sticks out the most. Netflix barely in the green at about 0.5%. You got Micron, some of those chip stocks continuing higher, up by 1.3%. Lam Research up a full percent. KLA Tencor, KLA Corp up 1.5%. Texas Instruments in the positive as well. Look at this NASDAQ 100. We're catching a little bit of a bid. We're up almost 100 points from where we were coming into the opening bell, as you're negative just by 46 right now in the NASDAQ 100. All right, what else we got going on this morning? So we got a Federal Reserve tomorrow. We got some action over in Canada today. Trudeau, as he loses his deputy, and a scathing resignation is how they put it. Yeah. The finance minister published a withering resignation letter on Monday that left him weakened at the worst possible time, as they put it. So he's chosen somebody else. Who did he pick? Did I say it up here? He's already chosen somebody else. Yeah, so they're dealing with the potential of tariffs. In a negotiation, you want strength, and you got your finance minister quitting and dumping quite the resignation letter on the way out. He's got the lowest popularity ever. It's going to be a tough one dealing with Trump when it comes down to time. And there's calls for resignations. Yeah. So, Freeland, a former journalist who's been finance minister since 2020, went public with her opposition to the prime minister's push for short-term spending on voter-pleasing measures like tax breaks that expand the budget deficit. She suggested such plans make the government look unserious. Our country today faces a grave challenge. Talking about the threat of all those tariffs. That means keeping our fiscal powder dry so we have reserves, as opposed to maybe some of those tax breaks that the politician Trudeau wanted to push through. So they're dealing with it this morning, man. Yeah. So there's a lot going on in Canada. And then you look to the geopolitical risk in Ukraine, and you have another general killed over there. As you have, Russia's nuclear, biological, and chemical protection troops. He was the leader of that. So, it's an outlier risk, but there are geopolitical tensions going on. They could flare up at any time with the new administration. You get tariffs. You have Trudeau dealing with some problems in Canada, and we'll see where we go from there. But it is interesting that they talk about unserious, right? In terms of unserious, which is tax cuts. We got to get serious too, because the reason why she was giving him so much grief is that tax cuts that aren't paid for. Are they serious? To a degree, they are. Hopefully, they just don't go to too much of a degree, because we do have to pay for that. Tommy's 3 years old. He turns 4 in February. I want to make sure that he's got a country that isn't saddled with debt on that next generation. People say it over and over, but when you have a young child, it's especially true in terms of the future that they inevitably are going to deal with. You talk about a future. How about a future in the markets, man? Look at that chart from the lows of 2 years ago, October of 2022, 3,500. We're pushing 6,130 right now in S&Ps. We check back in on yields. Yeah, just chopping around. And we are sitting right now with a 10-year. Let's pull it up exactly. Yeah, 4.4. 4.397. We're sitting at 4.4, kind of right back to the lows we were on Friday. We were all the way down to 109.17 earlier today. But you take a look at this thing like I've been talking about. Lower lows, lower highs. Seems like we're here to test the lows that we had in November, and we'll see if that can hold. And we'll see if Chairman Powell has anything to say about where yields are and where they should belong next year. I imagine he's going to have a very cautious approach tomorrow. Now, keep in mind, they meet tomorrow, and then their next meeting, I believe, is January 29th. Trump comes in January 20th. You might already get day one action that they're going to have to contend with at the next meeting. All right? And where is that natural rate of growth that they all want to find? It's the Goldilocks theoretical number that the Fed needs to rest at so they're not accommodative or restrictive. Nobody really knows what that number is, folks. It's a theoretical number, and nobody will ever really know where it is or if we're at it, but it is the number that theoretically, again, you want to strive for as a Federal Reserve if the economy is doing well, so that you're not allowing inflation to run or clamping down the economy too much to cause a recession. I imagine that number's higher than 2%. The market just doesn't know how much higher it is above 2%. We're going to be at 4.25% tomorrow if the Fed cuts. We're going to be at 4.25% tomorrow. A lot of speculation that natural number is probably with a 3 handle at this point. And boy, you look at the strides that some of these public companies are making. You look at the margins. You look at the profitability. And you tell me that the U.S. economy can't grow at more than 3% right now. You're going to get deregulation. You're going to get tax cuts that might not even be paid for. Okay? And we can't grow more than 3% as we're expanding deficits with tax cuts that aren't paid for and deregulation. It's very possible that we have a 3. And we'll see where Chairman Powell has to go. So he's going to be cautious this meeting, but he's got one more meeting, and they're probably going to cut, and then things are going to get real in 2025 as we find out what are some of those policies, right? How harsh are some of those policies going to be when it comes to tariffs and immigration in the same conversation? But we've seen a trade higher on the NASDAQ, slight pullback today. Markets chopping around. We get the S&Ps negative by 22. Stay tuned, folks. One more segment. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. We have markets in the red with the S&Ps off by 22 points. NASDAQ 100 off by about 73. We get the 10-year yield right now sitting at about 4.4% right now. And it is interesting. You take a look. So let's take a look at this article. Let me see if I can pull it up. Here we are. Just from CNBC and a little bit of clickbait, okay, to a certain degree, which CNBC excels at their clickbait. Fed poised to cut rates. There's an urgency to act now to get best returns on cash, experts say. Well, if you're in the market enough, you know that this is already factored in, right? If you're trying to rush to get a rate right now, when the market knows there's a 100% chance that they're going to cut tomorrow, you're not going to be getting yourself any bargains, folks. Okay? If anything, the reason why you could argue that it makes sense to cut right now is because the market has not priced in many cuts next year. And if we reach a point that the Fed needs to start cutting more than the market has priced in next year, you'll see rates drop accordingly, right? I mean, you even take a look at where yields are. Lower price means higher yield. Lower price on this chart means higher yield. What a great time to be buying to a certain degree. Okay, yeah, we've been lower. Last year in 2023, that was the higher yields there. You hit an area yet again in the beginning of this year, but far better than where we were. All right, but what is interesting is I pulled up when you talk about what type of rates are out there right now. This is just a snapshot right now in terms of brokered CDs, okay, that are available. And pay attention to the 1, 2, and the 5 up here because these are non-callable CDs. And these are the numbers right now. And they fluctuate a little bit by supply and demand. But you're looking at 5-year ladder, right? Puts you at about 4% APY. A 2-year ladder gets you at about 4.1% APY. Not that bad. But you see that we're under a 4 once you get out to 2 years. Yeah. Which is interesting, but we're locking in at 3.9 to get the 10-year yield right now at about 4.4%. So a 5-year CD, a brokered CD, pushing almost 4% right now. Not a bad number for guaranteed interest, depending on where you are at retirement, folks, family planning, financial planning on this market. Folks, thanks so much. Don't forget about Tiger Dollars. You heard that ad. Check it out on the front page of TFNN. Stay tuned for back.